Hey guys, this is Tara Devlin. Okay, on his return from the debacle at Davos, where the worst president in American history once again further wrecked our once good name all over the globe and embarrassed us in front of the world with his antics and his stupidity, traitor Donald Trump is claiming that he's secured a new deal with Greenland. And of course, the corporate media and the mainstream media is enabling this. They're following suit. The so-called framework for a deal on Greenland is just another scam, and that's what it should be reported as if we had a functioning media that wasn't hell-bent on enabling the madness or looking like they're playing it straight down the middle, when anyone with eyes knows that this is a time to pick sides. Either you're for the madness, you're for the enabling of a con man who's inflicting his manias on the world, or you're not. The so-called framework for a deal with Greenland is another scam where Trader Trump slaps his filthy autograph onto a relationship that the United States had on lock for about 3/4 of a century now. The only breakthrough here is that he is a serial failure who couldn't pass a civics quiz, much less a dementia test, and is once again being enabled by the media to cosplay as a statesman, playing some kind of three-dimensional chess with the world, with all of his batshit crazy antics and his unfitness, his manifest ignorance, his demonstrable lies. And that's all supposed to be the art of the deal, while the both sides press plays stenographer. When the dust settles, the only thing that the malignant clown has added to the Greenland picture is more confusion, more distrust, and a fresh layer of propaganda designed to keep his cult too gaslit to notice that their hero's historic deals are nothing more than reruns of agreements hammered out by actual public servants decades before this monster ever stained the Oval Office with his disgusting, filthy, criminal carcass. The reality underneath all this bloviating is simple. The deal already exists, and it's called the 1951 U.S.-Denmark Defense Agreement on Greenland. Under that pact, Denmark keeps full sovereignty, while the United States gets broad rights to build, operate, and expand military installations, like Thule Air Force Base. The United States can move ships and aircrafts through the sovereign Greenlandic waters and airspace and maintain defense infrastructure as part of NATO's collective security architecture. The agreement lets the U.S. use and upgrade facilities, enjoy essentially free access between defense areas, and coordinate with the Danish and Greenlandic authorities on activities that affect local interests. This is already in place. This is the deal. Whatever framework he's announcing, that's it. Everything else is him lying and pretending he knows what the hell he's doing. In other words, the framework he's bragging about already lives in black and white legal text that has governed U.S. presence in Greenland since the Cold War. The only innovation is that Trader Trump inflicted his putrid stench on Davos, threatening tariffs and dissolving NATO, and then tried to sell not blowing up the existing agreement as some kind of master stroke. This is what he does. This is the pattern that the corporate media insists on enabling for some reason, namely manufacture a crisis, hold something vital hostage, and then fix it by more or less returning to the existing status quo while screaming that you've achieved something like nobody's ever seen. Anyone else sick of this? Whether it's NATO burden sharing, Greenland's basing rights, or whatever other toy he's trying to rip from the hands of functioning adults this week, the script never changes. Break, blame, relabel, and then demand applause for putting the broken thing back roughly where it was before he smashed it. So this Greenland grift isn't an outlier. And that's what we should be calling it, by the way. Everyone in the independent liberal media needs to call it the Greenland Grift. Because corporate media is nothing but stenographers for the madness at this point, and therefore they enable it. If we want to come out of this horrible time that we're all sharing and save America from the fascists and ensure that another baboon like Trader Trump doesn't ever get power again, we can't go along in any way, shape, or form with the grift. The 1951 agreement shows that responsible leaders quietly did the hard, unglamorous work of securing Greenland's role in Western defense generations ago, balancing Danish sovereignty, Greenlandic interests, U.S. security, without threatening to blow up NATO. And, the quiet, mature, adult, patriotic work of diplomacy, the emotionally stable, emotional intelligence it requires to actually serve your country, to work for your country, that was all done decades ago, before the baboon pooped his diapers and blamed everybody for the stench. The tragedy is that instead of exposing this hall of mirrors for the cheap fraud that it is, too much of the political punditry class insists on playing along, dutifully repeating the words, framework of a deal, as if they're not staring directly at the carnival barker stapling his name onto long-settled policy and calling it destiny, manifest destiny, while the rest of us are left to live in the wreckage of the country that keeps mistaking vandalism for vision. Anyone else tired of it? I'm sick of it. And frankly, listen, we will win. Because we're on the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy, and humanity. But we're not going to win without what we're doing right here, calling it out. Thank you for listening. My name is Tara Devlin. Remember, we stick together, we win. I'll see you soon. Tell me what you think.